in the viewfinder. Down here, shutter speed 1/60th of a second. The higher that bottom number goes, the darker it's going to get. The lower the bottom number goes, the brighter it's going to get, but the more motion blur that you'll get. Up above that, f3.5, that's the f-stop. So the f3.5, the lower that number gets, the more open the iris is going to be, and the brighter your picture will be. Above that is 0 dB. That 0 dB means that the gain is all the way off. Above that, we see that MF. That's not a Samuel Jackson reference. MF means it's manual focus. We want to be in manual focus. We want to control the camera, not let the camera control itself. If we put it on auto iris or autofocus, it's always going to be focusing, and it's going to like go out of focus or get too bright or too dark. Right above that, we see a tiny little zebra. That tells us the zebra stripes are turned on. If those zebra stripes aren't turned on, we're not going to be able to know how bright to make our picture. Above that, we've got the date and the time. And above that, time code. If it's just sitting there not doing anything, that means that your video is not recording. So look at that time code, make sure it's recording. Up to the top left, we have the battery indicator, and we can see that our battery's full. On this, below that, we've got card A and card B. Right now, you can see that card A has 0 minutes. I've used up all the minutes on that card A, so there's no time left to record. Time B has dashes by it. That means there's no card in slot B. 1920 by 1080, that's the resolution. That's where that should be. It should be on 1920 by 1080. 30p. We would never want to shoot anything that has an I after it. Interlaced is just a horrible way to record anything. Always make sure you're on progressive, make sure you're on P. And it should be on 30p because that's the frame rate that our other cameras shoot with. So that's just our standard for what we're doing here. 1920 by 1080, 30p. And that 35M tells the bit rate. We're doing 35 megabits per second. So 35M is the bit rate. So you might find, if you pick up a camera, that it might not have anything on the display, or it might just show the cards on the display. The display is changeable. You can change that by hitting the display button. So if I hit the display button once, then all of this stuff comes back. And if I hit it again, then I also get this information, the battery and the record rate. Status button inside is going to show you the QuickTime. So if you're trying to make sure that your camera's in QuickTime, which is a good idea, you can hit the status button and see that it's shooting in QuickTime mode. These are the audio meters. You can see right now, channel 2 is moving. The bottom one is channel 2. That's the shotgun mic. Channel 1 is not moving because I don't have anything plugged into input 1. Next is this M right here. This is the full manual. This is different than the manual focus. It deals with the iris, the shutter, the white balance, all of those things go together. And again, you don't want to be in automatic. You are smarter than the camera. Next is the color temperature. Right now, the color temperature says 2800 degrees Kelvin. That is a very low color temperature. It's going to be a very amber to the reddish range. As it gets bluer and bluer, the number will go up to as high as 9500 degrees. Indoor light, we're going to find, is typically in the 3000 range. If you've got light coming in through a window mixed with your indoor light, you might be in the 4000 range. Outdoors around midday is going to be in the 5000 to 6500 range. And then as the sun gets very low in the early morning or the late afternoon, you're going to find things in the direct sunlight, the color temperature will go down into the low 4000s. But in the shadows, the color temperature is going to spike and be very blue. It'll be up to 9500 degrees Kelvin. So that's something you need to pay very close attention to. If you're shooting and the sun is low, you're going to have to white balance every time you move from sun to shadow.